Bet anywhere with TVG. The Kentucky Derby Leaderboard is brought to you by award-winning Triple Crown Whiskey. Smooth, rich North American whiskey with luxurious notes of caramel and toffee. Award-winning Triple Crown Whiskey, the ultimate triple threat, with its exquisite taste, tradition of craftsmanship, and affordable price. Pick up a bottle of Triple Crown today and see why Triple Crown is whiskey's Triple Crown winner.
Beautiful look there at the infield board at Santa Anita as we will show you the updated Derby leaderboard. Mohaymen, 70 points after the win of the Fountain of Youth. Gunrunner with the score there, and the Risen Star. Nyquist, More Spirit, Motom. For Vamo at a big long shot odds. Cleaned up 20 points there for finishing second in behind. Gunrunner Zulu did the same. Sunny Ridge we'll see coming up on Saturday. Exaggerator and Flexibility. That is your first page of the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, just over 2 months out. Here's the first look at my Kentucky Derby top 10 for Derby 142. I've got Gunrunner at number 10, coming off the win of the Risen Star. I just think from a numbers perspective, he's still got to move forward. He's got a 90 for that win. Checking in at number 9. I didn't try to be the hero on this list. I really tried to give credit to the credentials that were already placed out there. Danzine Candy. I'll tell you what Danzine Candy. 2 wins and an 8th, and if you watch that 8th place effort on debut back, that is the best 8th place performance I've ever seen. Rarely are you going to watch a horse finish 8th and see anything good, and I'm telling you, go back and watch that one. Danzine Candy for Cliff Seiss on the improve. We'll see that one coming up in a few weekends at Santa Anita. Checking in at number 8, Motom. Motom, to me, is not really a contender to win the Derby because I see him getting traffic problems. He moves laterally, he shows a lot of body motion, so I don't think that he's great in the herd chaos, but I do think that he can close, and Motom's got maybe a 3rd or 4th written all over him if he continues to progress there for Tom Amoss. Number 7, Greenpoint Crusader. This is my mutter I've got in the back pocket. That win the Champagne over the sloppy racetrack, they're being very light with him. He had 1 race in the Holy Bull, then a layoff to the Louisiana Derby, and then pretty much a layoff to the Derby. So this horse is going to come in fresh and be some point of a mystery, but I'm still waiting for the rain on Derby Day for Greenpoint Crusade. I think he'll really move up if that track somehow comes up sloppy. Number 6, this is the horse that really jumped onto the radar there in the Southwest Stakes. Now, with sudden breaking news. This is a gelding by Mineshaft. There's only been 3 geldings to win the Kentucky Derby since all the way back in the 20s. So it's a rarity. We've seen Mind That Bird, we've seen Funny Side, but this horse had a flashy turn of foot, and that pedigree is supposed to get better with time. So for him to be ahead of the curve, sudden breaking news, a May Foal coming through with a big effort there and getting a 93 buyer there at Oaklawn Park for Donnie Von Himmel. Number 5, Exaggerator. This horse is sneaking under the radar because he's light on wins. He's been defeated by Nyquist the last 2 times they faced each other, but his numbers are moving forward. He's bred to run all day. Curlin there on the top side of the pedigree. All kinds of mile and a quarter breeding for Exaggerator. Kent DeSormo, Keith DeSormo. Exaggerator to me is a horse that could be there late in the race. Number 4, Brody's Cause. We have not seen him just yet, but Brody's Cause really fits the profile for me. Going out for Dale Romans, a native of Louisville, stabled there at Churchill Downs. He navigates traffic well. He's bred to run long, and he's got a good acceleration, a good turn of foot. Brody's Cause, to me, has got the look of a Derby contender. Number 3, More Spirit. Bob Baffert, bottom line, is the best trainer when it comes to prepping to the Kentucky Derby, and it's not even close. More Spirit, a horse by Escandarea. I'll tell you what, if you heard a few weeks ago, More Spirit pulled up in a work. Now, obviously, that's a concern. You have a Derby contender that pulls up in a work, but they came back a week later. Here we go in this work. He reminds me a little bit of his running style to I'll Have Another for Doug O'Neill. He didn't have a big turn of foot and a big acceleration, but he grinds away, he puts his head down, and he passes rivals methodically. He doesn't win big, but he does win when the wire comes. So this is a horse that I feel like has got more to prove, but still, it's Bob Baffert. He did come back with that nice work after being pulled up. I'll have him number 3. Number 2, the Gray Son of Tappet, the golden child of this year's bunch, Mohaymen. Now, Mohaymen dominated the Fountain of Youth, dominated the Holy Bull, has never been beaten. They paid over $2 million for him, but when you look at this bloodline, his father Tappet kind of peaked in early spring and did not run well in the Derby. His grandfather Pulpit kind of peaked early in the spring and didn't have much in the Derby. So when I look at this pedigree, with his father and his grandfather. I wonder if he can still get better leading into the Derby. I have nothing to crack on him just yet. A horse that's undefeated, and they paid, once again, $2 million for Mohaymen. Number one, as we've heard earlier from Frank Miramati, big-time pedigree concerns. Nyquist is not bred to run a mile and a quarter. But my comparison to Nyquist, as we're going to see this juvenile, would be Silver Charm. They're smaller and diminutive in size. They get the most out of their stride, and he looked very comfortable sitting off the pace. He's not a one-trick pony and having to get to the lead. This was a dominant performance, got caught wide, and still moves out with a lot of interest. Swipe tried to come at him late, but you can always feel that Nyquist has got that extra gear late. I've never really felt like a horse was going to pass him in the final 16th of a mile. And with that being said, he's worthy of my number one on my early Kentucky Derby top 10 list.